Kristin, can you hear me too?
We can hear you,
Hey
Kyle.
guys, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Thank you, everybody.
Loud and clear.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to pop up on stage and say hello to our amazing icons. I know there's a patch in EXP world, and so anybody that's not here yet might be experiencing the patch. So I know we're doing some microphone checks, but let me check in while I'm seeing everybody here. Jeffrey, good morning. Are you with us? Let's hear a quick microphone check. Say hello.
Good morning, everyone. Excited to be here.
Awesome. We've got you loud and clear. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you making the time. Kristin, I think we heard an audio check. Well, let's do a quick double check. Good morning, Kristin. Are you here?
I got the patch all installed and I'm ready to rock.
Beautiful. Somebody asked in the chat what a patch is. So EXP World is software on your computer, and like software, if you think about your iPhone or your Android phone, it has to update anytime there's significant changes, new advances, which there's always new advances and big changes going with EXP World. So when you try to log into EXP World, if there's an update, it'll do what's called patching. So it'll actually download or install the updates. So anytime you're planning to come into EXP World, especially if it's a class or an event that you want to attend here in the audience, make sure you plan to arrive a few minutes early. Sometimes, depending on your internet speed, it might be 3 to 5 minutes. Maricela, it might be 10 minutes, depending on how big it is and how long it's been since you patched. So that's what the patch is. Good morning, Elizabeth. Are you here? Let's do a quick audio check-in.
Good morning, I am.
Oh, thank you for being here. It's great to see you. I know we've got some workplace chats going. Excited to collaborate here with EXPCon planning.
Looking forward to it. We're going to have a great time.
Perfect. And good morning. I think Kyle's hiding behind the screen here. Just want to double check. Kyle, can you hear us? There you go. Good to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, I could see you. I didn't know I was hiding behind the screen. Yeah.
I wondered if you had like a big intro plan, if you're going to pop out and like start singing or dancing and just kind of really surprise us and kick it off and get it going.
Try to scare everybody.
That's the spirit of Halloween. The craziest and funniest thing I've been seeing on the internet is all the Michael Myers videos with like people dressed in Michael Myers costumes walking around, town, and little kids and people scaring people. That is one of the funniest things I've seen this holiday season, this Halloween season, I should say. And just one quick check-in. Karina, are you here yet? I don't see Karina just yet, but I also want to make the most of our folks' time here and don't want to wait too long to kick in. So how about this? If you all don't mind, I'd love to just, host for a moment as Karina gets in. Again, it might just be the patch. And Karina, if you're here, jump up on stage, take over. You're today's moderator. But if not, can I maybe just go back in order here and ask everybody to do a quick introduction? Let us know here in the audience a little bit about yourself, your business, and anything that you want to share. Jeffrey, we'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, good morning. Jeff Dickinson out in Seattle, Washington. Three-time icon, been with EXP for almost 3 years now. It's always great to have Glenn Sanford about an hour and a half north, so great collaboration there. And had a long career with Remax. And I wake up every day and say Remax didn't do this for me. So what a great opportunity to be in the EXP family. I do about 50 to 75 transactions solo agent. So just happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you and welcome. Fantastic. Kristin, a little bit about yourself, quick introduction.
Sure. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Kristin Vining. I am half of the Vining Group. My husband and I started this team about 6 years ago now. Came over from KW. We serve all of Charlotte, North Carolina, and dip into upper Piedmont, South Carolina, which Fort Mill, TGK, Rock Hill, those types of areas. So we're dual licensed, and we just have a ton of fun. We're a real small boutique team. We average, 100 transactions a year, 35, 40 million a year. And we dabble in investments and flipping homes and And just, yeah, excited to be here. We're getting ready to icon for the third time here in the next couple of transactions. So love EXP and love being able to be part of being able to give back.
Woohoo! Well, we love you back. Congratulations on the next coming icon, and thank you for being up here today. We appreciate you. Good morning, Elizabeth. Quick introduction.
Hey, good morning. I'm Elizabeth Riley out of Austin, Texas. Love seeing you all. I have been licensed about 15 and a half years. I was with Keller Williams for the first 10. I joined EXP about 5.5 years ago in May of 2015. And we had about 400 agents, which is crazy because we're almost at that number in this class right now. I work by referral. I have the Lux Property Group. There are 5 of us that we all work together and collaborate. We're not a formal team. We're all individual agents, but we work together and we function as a team. I think last Friday, qualified for my 6th icon. And my business surpassed, last year was my best year in the business, and I did just under 20 million as an individual agent. This year I already surpassed that by August. So I'm not really sure where my numbers are because I don't really follow my numbers. But the fact that I'm doing better than I did ever before and just hit the 6th icon makes me very happy. So I'm glad to be here and share.
Oh, congratulations and good morning and amazing accomplishments. And Michael Jordan came to my mind. I was picturing him holding up 6 fingers, right? The 6 rings. That's so cool, Elizabeth. And congratulations on the great couple of years. And thank you for what you do as an icon and as a contributor across the company. We appreciate you. Kyle, good morning. Quick introduction.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kyle Bender. Kristin and I may as well be sitting in the same room because we are friends here in the Charlotte area. I also am licensed in North and South Carolina. We've got a team of, with me included, 6 agents, and we'll sell 210 homes this year. I've been with EXP for just over a year now. Icon the first year, and I had an independent brokerage before. This has been definitely a game changer, even for my independent. I had 35 agents, and most of them all came over to EXP with us too. Not as a team, but just individual agents. So we're all happy to be here.
Love it. Well, we're glad you're here. We appreciate you. I'm going to address the audience for a sec, and I'm going to give you all a minute to maybe help prep me. So I'm jumping in, ad-libbing here a bit, not positive if there was a list of questions you all were prepped for or not. But if there was, I'm going to give you all a minute to get those gathered and collected while I address the audience. Otherwise, we'll jump into a conversation, and I'll lead us here until Karina gets through the patch. But for the audience, if you're sitting here and you haven't attended one of these, or even if you're a regular and you're kind of thinking like, holy cow, right? 40 million, 50 million, 100 units, 70 units, like iconing first year, 35 agent teams. This is what's so unique and amazing about this platform. And, I think you heard, Michael Collier this morning, you heard Jeff Rubenstein talking about it a little bit, right? This doesn't exist anywhere else and not just in our industry, in most industries, right? Competition over collaboration is typically the go-to mindset in any uber competitive industry, right? But instead, what you have here, which is so unique, and you need to make sure you tell a friend that tells a friend here at EXP, you have the best of the best in the industry at this brokerage, on this platform, on a random Friday morning, every Friday morning, right? Like, that's kind of unbelievable. So again, thank you all for making the time. We appreciate our icons so much. It's such substantial achievements. You all make it sound like it's light work. We know it's not. And for those of you that are sitting in the audience aspirationally thinking about like, man, I want to get there. I want 50, 75. I want to do 20 million as an individual agent. I want a team of 35. That's why you're here today, right? To listen and learn. So, all right. I've just gotten news that I get to hang out with you all here for the next little bit. So if you don't mind me asking openly in front of our closest 300 friends, planned questions you all are ready to answer, or on the fly, off the top, Curtis gets to get to know you all a little bit? Which one are we prepared for, team?
On the fly.
On the fly.
Yeah. Let's rock.
Beautiful.
I
All right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. Then I'm going to start. I like to go mindset, skill set, tool set. So I'm going to start with the mindset question and just get everybody thinking in the right direction. Give you about 2 to 3 minutes each to hit everybody in the audience with the number one thing you think about, or guiding principle, or your North Star, right? How is it that you have the mental fortitude, the psychological makeup to push through and do the production and the achievement that you do every year? So I'm just going to go back in order. Start with Jeffrey. Give everybody 2 to 3 minutes about your state of mind, your core philosophy, some sort of guiding North Star principle before we start talking skills and tools.
Awesome. So two things really come to mind for me just every single day. Number one is that I know the industry I'm in. I'm not in the real estate industry. I'm in the client generation industry. I think it's such a huge aha moment that every day we have to wake up and we have to serve clients. Real estate's easy. And two is, I wake up every day. My mantra is I'm a Marine on going into on Iwo Jima, in World War II, and I can fight and go inland, or I can go out to sea and sink. So again, it's just a mantra that I have, that I'm charging full steam ahead every single day, generating clients, focusing on just maybe a couple of shiny objects, so to speak, and just going deep with a couple of client generation opportunities, and it works for me every year.
I love it. Love that mentality. Love that attitude. I bet a lot of us can relate to that. If you can't, put it to work. Kristin, same question. Guiding North Star principle, a mindset and approach, your core philosophy.
Yeah, great question. So our tag is relationships first and real estate second. So very parallel to Jeff. I believe that you should wake up every single morning and do what you love. And the beauty of real estate is that there are so many different facets that we can focus on. So, we as a team, my role is to see big picture, or to work on big picture. I see the big picture. But not everybody else on our team has that same DNA and that same makeup. Our director of operations came into this license in both states right out the gate, went into production, did a couple. She was ready to call the industry quits before we partnered together. And here she now has been with us for near 5 years as the head of our company, and is just, a pig that just kind of like plays in a pig pen all day long. That's how happy she is, just getting dirty with the administrative side of stuff, the operational side of stuff. So she wakes up every single day pumped to get to work and ready and gritty and hustling and hungry to make it happen. And I get to, work with with sellers. I don't work with a ton of buyers any longer. It's not really my jam. So for what helps us stay sane, I guess, and to stay in this business and to be okay with the ebbs and flows and ups and downs and heartaches and blood, sweat, and tears that we all put into this, is just waking up and focusing on the one thing and what we all love to do. And for me, it's marketing and branding and selling. And so that's just kind of, I stay in my lane. And the minute that I get out of my lane is where I start to feel stress and start to feel pressure. And my husband quickly reels me back, and he's like, Kristin, just, I got the transactions, right? He negotiates the deals and he gets it to the closing table. And that's kind of his jam. He hates sales. So he doesn't want to lead generate. He doesn't want to prospect. So we are constantly staying in our lane, working in our strength zone, in our wheelhouse, if you will. And I think the minute that we all figure out what that is, I think it's important that we all go through it in the beginning so that we can figure out what it is about real estate that we love, for the new agents in the room. But once you figure that out, then you immediately start to leverage that. And that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that I received in the beginning is, don't focus and work on the stuff about it you don't like. Go hire it. That way, you just, really for sanity reasons, you stay sane. So
I bet everybody would like a little bit more sanity, right? If you've been running around selling real estate all year to the tune of 20 million, 100 units, et cetera, more sanity is absolutely what I think the doctor would order for all of us. You make such an important point. I just want to reiterate it. You started about kind of relationships over transactions, which is a great point as well, everybody. If you're sitting here, even as a brand new agent, and you're working really hard on your first deal, or it's your 20th deal of the year, the whirlwind sometimes will confuse us and get us caught up thinking about the transaction. Oh no, that part of it, this deal, the option period, that earnest money, that negotiation, right? But at the end of the day, it's the relationship. It's doing right by your client. It's, doing what makes sense to them, regardless of what's going on for you, right? Like the relationship is what's going to yield massive reward, build you a sustainable big business thriving over time. But then the other thing that you talked about, Kristin, was related to, sort of staying in your lane or, honing in on your superpower, being more of what makes you you. I think that is the biggest takeaway, an agent, especially if you're starting or relaunching your business, right now more than ever is the time where you need to be more you. You need to be more of what you do best, right? And my wife is a new licensee, so a lot of my stories are, lived through my wife's lenses these days. And, she is just a caring, loving, amazing person. And she just cares about people. She's curious, she's helpful, she's loving, she's sweet. And, the technical side of learning real estate, she's just learning, she's brand new. So many times she wants to know the right answer. And as a new agent, if you're sitting out there, you don't know the right answer. You haven't been through it before, right? But what you can do is more of you. If that means more research because you're technical and you're good at studying and learning, you can go ask your state broker team, you can go watch 10 videos, you can go read on your association website. Or if you're like my wife and you care about people, you can call up the people, a friend in your market, another agent, shoot, the agent on the other end of the deal, your client, the title company, the lender. You just do more you and you get better at what it is that makes you great. So great takeaway. Love it. Let's get to Elizabeth, your guiding North Star, your core philosophy, a little bit of your mindset for the people here.
So I'm probably going to duplicate a lot of what Kyle and Kristin have said. But for me, my goal is just to treat each one of my clients like they're my one and only client, right? They're going to be very, very different. I just take one day at a time. I get very overwhelmed if I'm trying to do too many things or look too far in the future and try to take on too much. So I know me, Kristin's talking about be you. I say all the time, comparison kills joy. I tell people that all the time. And it's true because, and I'm guilty of it, right? I'm sitting on this stage with some amazing rock stars and I'm hearing their numbers and I'm like, holy cow, right? And I can get buried under that. But I don't allow myself to do that because I am doing what I need to be doing. I'm focusing on what I need to do each and every day to make sure that my clients are taken care of, that they feel like they're my only client, that I'm responsive and I'm protecting them in whatever way that is. And that's just not real estate. I mean, I become a friend of theirs. I'm in relationships with them. I become their human Rolodex. Any resource they need, they come to me. So that's truly what I focus on. And it makes me enjoy my job. And it's, quite frankly, it's not a job. I love what I do. And I get up looking forward to starting the day each and every day because of what I do.
Oh, I love that. And it's certain people feel that, right? Like they feel like you're one and only. They fall in love with that process, with that connection, and they become just what you said, your relationships, your friends, more than just a client or a potential customer, right? Or a buyer or a seller. Beautiful philosophy, Elizabeth. I appreciate you sharing. Kyle, same question to kind of wrap us up here. Your guiding North Star core philosophy or a principle for your mindset.
Well, to second everybody, I mean, one of those sayings we have on our team, and it's just great to hear that we're all the same here, but one of ours is we're a relationship company that happens to sell real estate. That's all we do. We focus on our relationships. My guiding North Star, I'll tell you, like my parents got divorced. I was young, moved back in with my grandma and grandpa and 13 family members in one house. I shared the basement that was unfinished with my dad and my sister. I think it's not a sob story, guys. Like it's just, that's how it was. But my guiding North Star is legit fear of the basement. I'm going to write a book someday, I swear, that's going to talk about the difference between fear and success. Like I'm not running towards success. I'm running away from fear. Every day I wake up and yeah, we're going to sell 210 homes this year. That's phenomenal. I wake up every day and I'm like scared I'm not going to sell a house and I'm going to be back in the basement. So maybe some of you guys are like that too, but that's straight up my North Star. Like I love God, I'm blessed, but every day, like that is it. It's wild.
Not going to end up back in the basement. I appreciate that mentality. I have a young son who's 12 years old, and his dream since he was 7 was to play basketball at the college level and then professionally. And one of the things I talk to my wife about all the time is how to put a chip on his shoulder, how to help. I don't want to manifest it, right? But like, how is he going to pick up on that mentality of I don't want to end back up in the basement, right? I don't want to go back through this to this, right? I want to prove myself. I want to make it. And, a lot of the folks here, in addition to the mindset and focus related to relationships, right? They're manifesting, they're creating their own individual drive, energy, effort, intention, all of those things for some reason. So find that, people talk about the why, all that good stuff. Find that motivating factor for you and put it into play. Love it. So thank you all for sharing your mindset. We're going to jump to skill set a little bit now, and talk about, some of the things that you do in your business, some of the things that people have questions about, so if you have a question related to what to do, how to do it, how to do it better, what it is that you're working on, there's an example in the chat related to what if I want to focus on listings versus buyers. So if you have a question that is something you need to get better at, you want to work on, or you want to know how these amazing icons do it, go ahead and drop it in the chat and I'll toss it up to the team up here. So I'm going to open generally to give you all a little bit of, time to talk more about what you do in your business from a skill perspective. So here's the analogy I'm going to make. Since I talk about basketball a lot, hopefully you all can relate to basketball a little bit, even if you don't play it, right? If you think about basketball, you think about the game, and those of you in the audience who might want to get better at the game of real estate, there's a few key skills, right? You might be a dribbler. If you know the positions, that means you're probably a guard. You're actually dribbling around a lot, and that's one of your key skills on the basketball court. You might be a shooter, and you might be really good at shooting three-pointers and close range shots, whatever. You might be a defender. You might be really good at playing defense, rebounding. There's these positions, and then there's these skills associated with them. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys, and hopefully it makes sense. Take it any direction you need to make it make sense to you. What skills are you exercising on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in your business? So literally take me through maybe the top 2 or 3 things that you do all the time, how you do them, what you think about them. So for example, if you're sitting down meeting with businesses to earn great opportunities to work with their, consumers, whatever it may be. Jeffrey, I know a little bit about your business and your philosophy. Take me through those skills. What are you doing? Are you presenting all the time? Are you discovering all the time, asking questions? If it's your conversations, if it's your listing business, whatever it may be, take us through the top 2 or 3 skills that you exercise in your business and give a little bit of elaboration on how you do them and what you do. So let's go about maybe 7 minutes on the clock. I'll interrupt you at about the 7-minute mark. And I'll ask some elaborating questions based on the audience participation. So Jeffrey, top skills you exercise in your business on a regular basis.
Yeah, so two really come to mind. One is, getting back to this relationship genre that everyone on the panel has. It is all about relationships. Working your database. You are a new agent and you don't have a database. My recommendation is go meet the local Edward Jones agents, chiropractors, attorneys, generate a sphere of influence around you. So that's really number one. Again, it gets back to you've got to have clients to serve to be successful. Number 2 is that my whole background, my whole being is all about what I call corporate affinity, just generating clients at the workplace. It makes me so unique in the marketplace. It was an aha moment. I was sitting at Starbucks years ago, looking out the door, wondering where my next client was coming. I was in the basement, Kyle saying, and it dawned on me, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and my aha moment was my clients are at work. How can I generate clients at the workplace? No one else is doing this. Everybody seems to be wanting to KV Core, buy Zillow leads, go in the corporate affinity route. This is not relocation. I want to get that make that perfectly clear. This is local and what I call crosstown moves. There's just so much business. You can generate 1 transaction for every 100 employees that you represent. Concentrate on the small to medium-sized companies. Your Edward Jones financial person, your chiropractor, your attorney, your mortgage reps, all these professionals are looking to generate clients just like you, why not create a pod and work together on that whole concept? I guarantee you, you may not icon this year, but you'll icon the second year. Get 3,000 employees under your belt. That might be 6 employers. That's 30 transactions a year. We're going to welcome you up here as an icon. So those are really the 2 concepts that I really hyper focus on every single day.
I love it. I've got a couple of follow-up questions here to ask. And so, obviously for time reasons, everybody here, we may not be able to go really deep on sort of the corporate affinity marketing process, but I imagine Jeffrey can give us a couple more tools and stuff here through the next interview questions. But in short, what Jeffrey is talking about, I'm going to kind of go high level, Jeffrey, and then I'll let you fill in the blanks here if I missed anything. From a high level perspective, he's really talking about identifying, a source of leads or a pillar of leads that is unique and different, right? And the specific unique and different source of leads that Jeffrey's talking about is related to working with businesses and supporting their staff members, essentially creating, big sources of leads for yourself and your business. And there's a whole set of systems and processes, a program around it that I know Jeff has, and that can be explained and kind of gone deeper into, I think, through future conversations and maybe a little bit here today. But in short, he's talking about finding a lead source that's a little bit different than what your traditional lead sources are. And then the other thing that he's talking about, oh, absolutely. I think he's had this class a couple of times at events, and we need to get it, live in EXP World on the regular if we don't. Jeffrey's got a group there in Workplace as well. You can check it out. The other thing you were talking about, which I did have a question for you, Jeff, was related to kind of building your database. So obviously your approach to building your database is getting in relationships with these corporate employers, and then, building the programs, offering the services inside. What does your database look like? If you had to give us some general numbers, size of that database, the number of relationships that you work on a regular basis, give us a little database numbers.
Yeah, so I have about 600 in my database that I work. I've got everybody on a 3-bottle-a-year wine club with my own labeling. Birthday cards are a huge plus. I mean, who gets a birthday card in the mail anymore? That's been a huge factor in generating more referrals, but just keeping in contact. In the day of COVID here, it's not all about real estate. It's about well-being and picking up the telephone. Is there anything that I can help you with? And then from let's just say a CRM standpoint, what's cool about these corporate clients, they're teed up, ready to go. I'm not. They're calling me for service. I'm not having to chase them for service. They have 3 MLS numbers in hand. Jeff, hey, can we go out and buy a home tomorrow? So they're in and out of my ecosystem within a couple weeks in normal circumstances. Same thing on the listings. I do a balance of about an equal balance of listings, buyer representations. I think it's a healthy mix instead of just being one-sided, just my personal belief. But, it's kind of like, Jeff, can you come over on Tuesday and list my home? Never am I in a situation where I'm competing with another agent. They're saying, hey, if it's good enough for the widget company, it's good enough for me. Let's, list my home. So they're just such kind clients to deal with, really parallel to receiving a warm referral from your database. So
Very cool. Very cool. Love it. Well, I appreciate you sharing, Jeff. Big takeaways, everybody. Build your database. Identify that non-traditional source of lead generation, not what everybody else is doing. Great skills to put in work on and work on developing. Appreciate it. So Kristin, same question to you. Top skills that you exercise on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I know you said there's key areas where you focus and excel. Tell us a little bit about those and how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, that was fantastic. Thank you for that. One of the things that I love about being on these panels is that there's so much to learn from everyone. So I really appreciate that. And we'll take a peek at that on Workplace. again, parallel to that, with what Jeff does, it's for us, crazy as it sounds, social media is the number one source of business for us. And I say that pretty broadly because if you are working your social media correctly, your social media is your sphere. That's your database. And those are the people who are really your core advocates. Those are the people who let's talk about business cards. Somebody says, hey, can you hand me a business card? And more oftentimes than not, even though I do have them, I will say, hold on, wait, are you on Facebook? Because for me, being able to touch that person every day with valuable content is way better than putting a business card in their hand. And I know that if I'm working that every single day and I'm sharing not just, I'm not just throwing real estate stuff down people's throat, but I'm giving them an insight into our real estate world. What are the latest trends with interiors? What are the latest trends with investment properties? What are the latest trends with interest rates? I mean, you can go on and on and on in terms of how you're educating your sphere. So much so that sometimes I have to dial back and change it up a little bit, because it's interesting. If I talk too much about my own hometown of Fort Mill, people automatically in Charlotte will go, oh, well, you don't serve Charlotte. Hold on, wait a second. Yes, I do. So it's crazy how you can train your sphere, with social media. And the most beautiful thing about it is that it's free. It's absolutely free. So I work it all day, every day. I understand the algorithms on Facebook, and that, I know that my personal stuff is going to, when I post pictures of my kids, like, so the other day I posted a picture of my twins at their football and cheer game. If you go to Facebook and just follow Kristin Vining, you'll see all of that. And that always is going to generate more loves, more likes, more comments. And then when I go to post the next real estate post, then I'm going to start to come up in their feeds a little bit more frequently. When it comes to birthday messages, I will go, I love the cards, Jeff. We do the exact same thing. You're right. Who gets birthday cards in the mail anymore? So that's definitely something that we, with our database and with our CRM, because we have a CRM in conjunction to the social media platforms that we work. But, we will send a direct message behind the scenes and actually start to converse with people on their birthdays, just saying hello, loving on them. And then Facebook goes, well, they're really our friends. And so now all of our content that we're posting, and I do all of this on my personal page, this is not my business page, then we start to show up more frequently. It's amazing the number of phone calls I get daily from people who have been following, us, and I hate to say me because we're a team, so us, whether it's my content that I'm putting on my personal page or others, that they'll say, I've been following you for years, and I want to be a realtor, or I want to sell, or can you help me buy? I mean, I used to photograph weddings years and years ago, and I had a past bride of mine that I photographed her wedding 10 years ago, and she's like, I want you to help me buy my next house. So my one thing every day is that I feel like I'm a journalist. I feel like the things that I'm passionate about, I want to share. If I'm talking about a great restaurant, if I'm talking about a great experience somewhere, I just have this inclination, it's my DNA, it's my makeup to just share it. And as a result of that, now it takes time to build that, but as a result, it will slowly start to build for people to start to come in. This is something I've been working for 15, 20 years, or however long Facebook is, 2007, whenever it was that it first came out. So for me, every single day, it's social media. But again, think about it. It's all packed into one deal, right? It's relationships. That's what Facebook is. It's social, it's talking, it's interacting. I was dropping stuff off to my staging company this morning, a few pieces, and one of the gentlemen that was helping me unload my truck was like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I've got a real estate company. Oh, really? Well, you know what? I just got back here from Kentucky, and I'm thinking about buying some land. I want to build, I'm a builder. And I said, well, tell me a little bit about what you want. Like, let's see if I can help you. And so you just start to ask questions, and it just have natural conversations with people all day long. It doesn't have to be, hey, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That's just not our style. I know it works for a lot of people, but for us, it truly is just about having conversations all day long. And then how can you best serve that person?
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I just friend requested you on Facebook. Do you mind if I put your Facebook page out there for people to check out?
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
cool.
I mean, this is a great way to network agent to agent and build relationships so that we can help send business back and forth with each other.
Absolutely. Nothing new is under the sun, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You're doing a great job at engaging and creating content. And it's nice, I think, for sometimes for people to get a picture of what that, sort of profile and approach looks like sometimes if they're just getting started and trying to figure it out. So beautiful Facebook page. Love it and appreciate you sharing. I'm going to reiterate a couple of things here because, I want people to be able to take away sort of some strategies and then choose their tactics, right? So you talked about, oddly enough, right, the first thing you talked about was selecting your source of relationships and lead generation, right? It happens to be, your source happens to be social media, right? Great free tool. So you're talking all about how you engage on social media, but you're also still talking to the audience here about selecting the right lead source for you and creating leverage and building your database and all those good things through being your best version of yourself every day, working on those skills, building those relationships. And as you said, having natural conversations. Just simple takeaway, everybody here, whether you're doing it on social media or anywhere else, you are not in the business of relationship building if you are not having conversations every day, every week, at least, right? Having conversations. So simple, but so effective, so practical. Thank you, Kristin. Appreciate you sharing. All right, Elizabeth, some top skill sets you exercise on a regular basis and how you do it and what you do.
Yeah, so this is what's cool because we're all a little bit different and our approaches vary, but we're all effective in our own ways, right? So I am not a big social media person at all. I didn't join Facebook until I joined EXP years ago, right? So if I don't know somebody, I don't have them I don't accept their friend requests because that's just kind of my little world. That's my family and my group, right? So I have a business page and I do things on that page, but I don't really focus on social media and especially not my personal page. What I do is a little bit different because I'm I guess old school, but everybody knows people and I want everybody to know what I'm doing, but I'm very passive in my approach. I have 4 small kids and I'm very involved in their schools. I'm very involved in their activities, but I never want anybody to see me and say, oh my gosh, run, there's Tripp's mom. She's going to talk about real estate, right? But I want them all to know what I'm doing. And I get really involved in the community. We sponsor community events. We sponsor the school organizations, or fundraisers. We do teacher appreciation events. We do this neighborhood or community basketball. I sponsor the teams and my name goes on the back of all the shirts. So I do things like that so people know and see me everywhere and they think I'm everywhere, but I'm not always talking about real estate. I had to start real estate over 2 different times. When I first got into the business, I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about real estate. I got into it because my CPA said I had to. I did not get into it because I had this passion for real estate. Now, I realized quickly that was my passion, but I just wrote a list of everybody I knew in Excel and as much information as I could. And I just wrote them a letter and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest, I'd be honored to work with them, right? Just simple. And when I was relocated to Austin, Texas in 2008, everybody was like, that's a horrible time to get in the market. I'm like, no, this is opportunity, right? People need to know who I am. And I lived in a townhouse community and there were 44 townhomes. And I had 1 kid at the time and we walked around each of our neighbors' doors and we knocked on their doors, not for business, but to get to know our neighbors. And it always would come up, what do you do? Oh, well, I was in real estate in Austin. I'm in real estate, or in Atlanta, I'm going to be real estate here. And then I would go home and I'd write them all a handwritten note. Dorothy, it was so nice meeting you, and Toto, I can't wait to get to know you guys more. I didn't talk about real estate. It was on my note cards that had my team name or my business name or whatever. And then now I've got that relationship and I put them in a drip campaign, if you will, and I would market to them once a month. So when I have a bunch of agents come to me and they're like, hey, how do I get people? How do I meet people? Make a list of everybody you know, write them all a letter, let them all know what you're doing. Don't put your business card in there. Business card's not really going to get you anywhere. But then what I do is 2 or 3 weeks later, after I send that note, write a handwritten note to them. Nobody does handwritten notes anymore. And just do 5 or 6 a day. It doesn't have to be, okay, do it all at once, but write a handwritten note to them saying, hey, I hope you got my letter. I'm having so much fun. I'm really enjoying this. Here are a few business cards. If you ever know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I'd be honored to work with them. and then go from there. I don't talk about real estate much. My marketing stuff isn't really all about real estate, if you will, because they all know that they can come to me for stats and numbers and comps and things like that. But I want them to wonder what I'm sending them each month, so that it keeps them guessing. And don't spend a lot of money, because as it's going to the trash can, because they're not going to keep your stuff, y'all. It just needs to be effective. So for example, for October, here in Texas, most of our kids were all virtual. And so we just did a little postcard in Canva, which is free. And it just said, work from home, Zoom, school from home, Zoom from home, do it all from home. Lux Property Group has you covered. And then we just got those little webcam covers with our logo on it, and we put that on there. And I got so many comments and people reaching out saying, oh my gosh, this is so perfect, right? So we do stuff like that. My family is my why. My clients' families are usually their why. Your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're interested in animals, or you're interested in rowing, go find those organizations and get involved with them and get to know people that way, right? For me, I'm around my kids' families and all of those people. And so I want them to think of me when they're buying or selling or investing in real estate, or referring me to somebody else. And so when we're doing our marketing, we keep the families in mind as well. So October, the mail outs that are going out this month are not to my clients, they're to their kids, right? It's still going to make an impact, but the families love it, because they're like, oh my gosh, Jack loved getting that card from you with the Frosty gift certificate in there. Thanks so much. Or my kid loved getting the glow sticks. Or we are really excited about the pumpkin carving contest you're doing for our kids. So I make it more of a family event, because I treat people the way I want to be treated. And I love it when people incorporate my family as well. So that's how I approach my business. And consistency is the key. You need to be consistent. I've done this consistently my whole business. Sometimes you won't hear from people, but that's okay. And then out of the blue, you'll get a referral, or they'll call you. So consistency, whatever you're doing, just that's my biggest takeaway, I would say.
Oh, I love it. And Elizabeth, I may get the name wrong. I know you and Renee do leading from the heart, or with the heart, and
leadership from the heart. Yeah.
Leadership from the heart. So here's what comes to my mind. And I just want to reiterate to the audience, because, there were a couple of people in the audience saying, oh my gosh, I knew this was possible. I hoped I could do it this way, right? I want to be myself. Like, if you are the kind of person who everyone around you feels your heart before they know anything else about what's going on, you can build a business that way, and an amazingly successful business that way. So just a reminder that, building those relationships, being that authentic person, right? Meeting people, caring about people, like, that's the way to build an ICON award-winning business. And, there are models out there, and Elizabeth runs her business that way. And the other thing I'll remind you is that feeling, that love, that heart, that's part of your brand promise, right? That is you being who you are authentically to all of these potential relationships, all of these potential buyers and sellers, and people feel that and believe that, and they fall in love with that, and they choose to associate themselves with that, that person, that brand, and that relationship, and ultimately Elizabeth and her group. So very cool. Thank you for sharing. All right, Kyle, last but not least, man, couple of your key skills that you're exercising every single day, you do and what you do.
It is definitely not easy to follow these three and then still have some good ideas for people to listen to. I'm sitting here taking notes myself, so thank you guys so much.
Same.
One of the things, I'm not going to talk about, having money and spending it on Zillow and billboards and stuff like that. We don't do that really. I do buy some leads now, but when I started, we did not. We still focus on those relationships, exactly what they're talking about. I have a big list. What I'd tell you to do is just focus small, and it gets harder as you do more business and you know more people. But focus on your small group right now. Let's call it 20 people or something you love to do, and do that. Send them the handwritten card. Take them to lunch. Don't talk about real estate. It's going to come up anyways, because they're going to ask you what you're doing and how things are. And obviously, we're always great. We're always selling. We're always doing a ton. But when we're looking at that, I would start there. And right now we have such a big database, but it's just been thrown together, because I've been doing this for quite some time, where it's not organized like I want it to be. And it's not as systematic or automatic as I want either. So we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're still doing that old school touch. We still send cards. We send them to everybody. We do send birthday cards to the kids. Those matter so much more than to the parents. I get pictures of, we send a Starbucks card, but if it's for a kid, they're either getting a hot chocolate or they're getting a cake pop. So I'll get a picture with that, and the kid's just gleaming, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. We do that. There's a lot of very one-on-one personal stuff, and as you start selling more and more, like, I'm not in all these different places. We send them stuff, and they're like, how do you have time to do this? Yeah, I have an assistant that's helping. I actually have 2 of them. And then we have a marketing person. Like, there's so many people involved now trying to give you that small time feel still. You're our only client. And we do really care. Like, coming from the heart is the biggest thing that you can do. I think that's pretty much sums up a lot of the stuff.
I love it. I appreciate it. And there's some big takeaways in there, right? Because this audience is comprised of a whole, big mix of experience levels, production levels, tenure in the business, right? And so maybe you only have 20 VIPs in your business right now. Well, make every single one of them feel like the only one, right? Do everything you can to be deeper in a relationship with them, serve them, add value in every way we can. Or maybe you're sitting in here and you have a database of thousands, maybe the size of Kyle's, right? And recognize that at the same time, you need to go to work on the systems, the process, the structure, right? You need to prioritize and focus your energies on maybe creating some leverage for yourself, or another word, that Kyle was kind of talking about, things just happen. It's not like he's picking up cake pops or hand delivering everything all the time to everyone, right? He's got that small group, but build in some automation. And there's some, a lot of resources and tools nowadays for you to auto gift and mail out and things like that, right? And postcards, whatever you want to do, the options are out there, the opportunities are out there. Find those, get resourceful, and find a way to be everywhere, look like you're everywhere, and still be effective, even if you're a team of one or a small group in your local market. So love those ideas. Great stuff here. We've got about 10 minutes to wrap up. There have been a handful of questions kind of coming through the chat. So now is your time, audience. If you have a question you've been holding on to, drop it in the chat box. I'm going to give everybody here just a final probably 2 minutes to pick one of these topics real quick that you see in the chat box. So there has been a question about listings versus buyers. There has been a question about video and using video as a tool. There has been a question about what tools you use in your business, your key tools. So I'm going to drop those in here, and then more will come in the chat, I imagine, as we go. So Jeff, pick one topic, a tool set, a question, and give everybody here just kind of a closing 2 minutes to take away today.
Yeah, you bet. So one tool that I've been using for the last year is for my database, which really gets them engaged, is this homebot.ai. So I'll put that in the chat box, but you guys should really add that if you haven't already. It's just really engaging. It's all about the client. It's all about their home. It's great for a new home buyer. They can check to see, what would my home rent out as a vacation rental? What would it be as a just rental, regular, monthly or yearly rental? What is my current home value? And it'll just keep track of that, and it reminds them, and it reminds them of you every single week, every single month. So that's been a huge database engagement for me, and it's all automated.
Love it. All right, homebot.ai, perfect takeaway tool. I dropped it in the world chat. You all can check it out. And then I also gave you a link to the workplace group that Jeff has referenced, the Corporate Affinity Marketing Group. So perfect. Thank you. Kristin, a couple of minutes. Final question there, listings versus buyers, video, tools you use, or any final takeaway message for the audience here today?
Yeah, no, this is great. Thank you for that, Jeff. I love that. I'm on that website right now. So just to chime in, I think it's super important for us to be able to track our numbers and know our numbers. We're here to run businesses and to, continually propel forward, and no better way to do that than to know your numbers every single day. So we track our numbers with a software called ctebiz.com, and I'm happy to drop that into the chat box as well. I also believe that graphics and pictures are so much better, or that words are so much better when a graphic or picture is attached to it. So another fun little app that we use is called Word Swag. So if you feel like you're in a little bit of a rut and you don't have an image to necessarily attach to some valuable content with with some messaging that you're wanting to put behind it, or with a message you're wanting to put out there rather, that Word Swag is a great way to go ahead and create a fun little graphic to attach to those words. So I'll drop those into the chat right now.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So that was ctebiz.com and Word Swag. Very cool. Great takeaways, great apps. Elizabeth, same question. Any final thoughts on listing versus buyers using video or tools you're using now, or any takeaways for the audience?
I'm trying to do video a little bit. It's completely out of my comfort zone. So I would just say, try things even if it's out of your comfort zone. I don't think anybody's very comfortable with anything initially, right? But for me, I just have my database. I really just focus on my database, and I don't have that many people in there, about 350. And I don't break mine into groups either. I just do it all once, because otherwise I'd get confused and I don't have time for this. So again, I just use my database. If you're thinking about tools, Word Swag that Kristin mentioned is cool. One I like is Quick, Quik. I like it because for somebody like me that's not tech savvy at all, it's super easy. But I can take photos from my listings and I can upload them really quickly and make a video with music and all this other stuff. So it's free. You can brand yourself, you can do all sorts of things, but it takes me less than 5 minutes. And if you guys know me, I am not technology driven at all, but Quick is one that I would definitely use, and it's simple.
Awesome. Thank you. Quick. Very cool. And work your database. Tried and true. All right, Kyle, last couple of minutes here. Any thoughts on the questions, listing versus buyers, using video, what tools you use, or any takeaways?
There is no easy, fast way to make money in real estate. I hope you guys have understood that by now. I'll just answer some of the listings versus buyers, or just what to do here. But I'll tell you, every day, you have to prospect, you have to network. You can't be lazy. You want more listings. There's a couple of people that said, I want more listings. How do I change from being a buyer's agent to a listing agent? Well, go to a neighborhood that you like, and honestly, one that turns over, not one just because they're nice homes and they're expensive, but they sell a lot. Print out your comps, print out information about yourself, about EXP, like a little sales guide, and literally go knock on every door introducing yourself. Maybe it's your neighborhood. It's, again, going back to simple, how many encyclopedias were sold back in the day? How many vacuums were sold at a door? You go meet people, and even maybe it's your neighborhood you live in. Hey, I live in the neighborhood and I'm in real estate. If you're a single agent and you're just starting and you don't have a team, it might be a little bit harder, because I have all our new agents go and say, team sells 210 homes. There's 16,000 agents in our MLS, and we're in the top 30 every month. I have an agent that hasn't even sold a house yet, and she's starting to use this script, and people at least give her a meeting. It's phenomenal. So California's prohibited from door knocking. That does suck, I'm sorry. And COVID's definitely different times now, but we do events in neighborhoods still. We do food trucks. It's bringing people together to get those listings. You do an open house. We also go through and let the whole neighborhood know that we're doing an open house. Please come. You're not really wanting them to come to your house. You want them to know that you're in the neighborhood, that you're going to sell a home, and hopefully you can give them numbers for their house as well.
Love it. Love it. Awesome closing thoughts, everybody. Love the takeaways. I love the amazing ideas, and more than anything, we love and appreciate your contribution as Icon agents and leaders here at EXP. Thank you for being, open and transparent, willing to share your strategies, your tactics, letting people behind the curtain a little bit on getting their mindset right. Want to say thank you to Elizabeth, to Jeff, to Kristin, to Kyle. This was fantastic. Really appreciate it. Want to give the audience a link here real quick. One more place to go. If you enjoyed this, thought this was awesome, number one, get back every single Friday for the ICONversations. And number two, click on that link that I just put in the world chat. That will take you to what's called our Icon series catalog. So we have dozens of Icon agents that are teaching and training for free live in eXp World on a monthly basis. And I think we've got about 18 or 19 of these sessions recorded. So we have a catalog available of our Icon series classes. So click on that link and you guys can check it out. Kyle, again, thank you. Jeff, Elizabeth, Kristin, this was fantastic. We won't be back in the basement. We will be together building eXp, building our businesses. Thanks again, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you all.
Thanks, Icons.
Thank you,
Love
guys.
y'all.
Great job, Curtis. Way to step
Bye,
up.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. That's awesome.
And just pretend some Pitbull music.